Bing bong! Welcome to the fucking podcast.
You see these dogs in your front yard? Huh? Just know upstairs I'm going hard. Bing bong.
Bing bong! Holy shit.
Oh my god. Okay, welcome back to the second episode, the second official episode of the Final Battle podcast.
Bing bong
I am
podcast.
the Bing Bong cast. That's what we.
What the fuck?
I am. I just got Kev hip to Side Talk NYC. The absolute debauchery that is just what New York is, and it's just very entertaining. But they skate and do backflips with yellow foams for no reason in the middle of the summer. I am one half of your podcasting duties. My name is Dre, aka Don Luke Cage, and over here we have brother Kev. Kev O.
What's up?
The artist.
The artist.
The artist, the god, the myth, the legend.
I'm just gonna take those, you know.
I'm
I'm not gonna be like, I'm a humble artist. I have a little corner where I draw my shit, a little mark in history, just a little smudge,
Oh no, sire. I just scribbled upon the paper occasionally. Like no, bro. You're actually really good. Speaking of art and being really good, Kev, tell us because I'm curious to hear like the re-explanation of it, my damn self.
Sure.
How you got to the podcast artwork, because we didn't cover that last time, and it really is. First off, I rather enjoy it, and I think it's odd that it's really funny that I picked like a spear or a staff when every game I play is something close range and not skilled at all. It's just melee. So it's interesting that that's my character, but I picked that like as my character arc, character build. I did, but I think I'm trying to project what I want my future to be.
That's
skill
fine.
as opposed to just brute strength.
Yeah.
But tell us about that. Talk to us.
Okay, so like when I first wanted to do this project, I was like, dude, I want this to be like, I don't know, I want a fantasy medieval-ish vibe to it. But then like I was playing like a shitload of Elden Ring, and like I love Dark Souls games. It's like, dude, I want some like I want that like art style, not art style, but like I guess the design, the armor, the static, the fantasy. I play a bit of Final Fantasy, just a bit, but not too much. And like it's a lot, honestly, just to be honest, like just to get into how to make the art. Because like you have to be at first like. Should I just talk about the cover at first, how it came to be? Let me do that first.
Yeah.
I'll talk about how how to be a decent artist, because I'm a good artist, but it's like no, I don't want to say it because like there's always someone better than you. It's true, man.
There's a fine line, because when you put in the time, you can't discount yourself for what you can't discount yourself for someone else's greatness. You can also be great, but there's quote unquote can be levels to it. So
that's true.
Give yourself credit without discrediting yourself and or slandering the next person. So
that's
all right,
true.
go ahead, cook.
Okay,
all right, go ahead, cook, my boy.
So how I started, bro, like I was like, I want to be a warrior, so that's what I was like. We have to give ourselves like classes, and I was like, fuck it, like I'll be a warrior or so whatever. At first, you ever heard of the anime / manga Berserk?
Very vaguely, yes.
So like that's.
Yeah, very vaguely. Yeah.
Okay, so like that anime or manga, I'm gonna say manga. That manga inspired like Elden Ring, Dark Souls. Like there's a lot of references from that manga to those games, and I got hit to it like a year and a half ago, and I love it. And it's like I haven't read all of it, but it's like I was like thinking for my class I should be like because the main character, he's kind of like a Dark Knight, or he's just a big dude with a big greatsword. So I was like, maybe I should do that for my character, but then I was like, nah, bro, like. Two reasons. I just like I later when I update the podcast cover, I was like, I'm gonna go through my dark art.
Okay.
Because that's what the main character goes through. He goes through like a traumatic event.
Villain art. Okay.
It's not a villain art. He kind of becomes like an antagonist, not an antagonist, anti-hero. So like
Okay. Like an Agent Venom type.
No. It's like he's a hero, but he's like he kind of doesn't care for people. He starts losing his humanity. That's kind of thing. Yeah.
You mean me? You mean me?
Right. And then the other reason why I decided to pick a guy with shield and the knight is like I picked because like I'm good at drawing, but I'm not very good at like figuring out things from my imagination. That's like the only thing I don't do. Like if you just gave me a pen and paper and you just told me I can't look at the internet, I'm probably gonna be drawing some things, but I'm just like, yeah, it doesn't look that. It just looks like a little amateurish, I guess. Cause like
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm somewhat like a human printer. I'm like, I look at the image, I'm just like I'm just looking, bro.
Yeah.
It's like it's crazy.
Admittedly,
Yeah.
to definitive. Now I still haven't gotten it, but it is a great piece of artwork that's up in my room.
Oh yeah.
But I asked Cam to draw me a Batman tattoo years ago,
Yeah.
and I just have it as a piece of art now because at the time it's like I'm gonna have my right arm is all the meaningful stuff, my left arm is the playful one, and then it's like tattoos are expensive and that's time and sleep and yeah. So, but Kev is that Batman like it's still one of the best things I've seen, and he actually did one of my oh god I'm exposing myself here. I'm exposing my music, Kevin. Um, Kev actually did the album artwork for my first official single, which was the song titled "Me," and he literally just we took like 2 or 3 pictures we were leaving work,
Yeah.
and Kev took that and went crazy, and it was beyond impressive, and to this day the best album cover I have or artwork I have. So
Damn.
yeah, Kev is likes that.
I appreciate that. Holy shit.
Of
Yeah.
course, I'm not. Me and my little like, of course, you know me. I'm the weird. I'm the digital artist. Like, ooh, I'll put this together and that and that. But I don't have half of the skill or the talent. So I appreciate what you are able to do. And then in drawing, all of my good drawings are tracings. Like I'm good at piecing, like putting like collided like pieces together.
Right.
But I'm not good at the execution of the actual drawing and that sort of thing at all. Like collages and stuff. Oh, I'm great.
I've seen them. They're good.
I've done some pretty decent ones. Maybe I'll expose myself later on in the podcast tenure. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. I was just defending because it's like it was like that. I'm sorry.
I don't know. It's like being an artist is like you gotta hold your load and not not like shit, but like you gotta you hold your worth.
Yeah. I got you.
But like so I decided the art, the design, the characters. I made character designs for them for me and Dre. And it was like, bro, I'm gonna make it as detailed as possible, and I I had to find a reference of how the poses should be, how this will be like the representation of like what the cover will represent. And I want something really cool. So this is kind of like a comic book tie-in. I decided to look up. I bought a omnibus of like this comic called Saga. Saga is like this sci-fi adventure, maybe romantic, sure. It's like you could say it's a take on Star Wars, but not really. It has its own thing. I haven't read it in a long time, so I'm just like, it's just from memory. But like I went through that book. It's a really big book. It has like almost all the issues from present day. And I was looking through the covers and I was like, there's a couple covers I like. There's one where a character was hanging from, I guess, the end of an airplane, just reading a book, and the other person's flying in the background. But then I told myself, maybe no, the other person who's flying would be like too small because it's from perspective. So I picked this other one, which is very similar to the one we for the podcast cover, and I rocked this. I had to think about a lot of things. I had to draw for my character, like it had a shield and a sword. I didn't do any designs for them until I made the thumbnail, and I had to I was like, fuck it, I'll just pick some Dark Soul things. I just pick a random sword, a very standard sword, and then I was like, I'll pick this shield because it's pretty easy, not easy, but it's like I guess it's iconic in terms of like it's a spider, so it's like that's fine.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I had a great time. I remember when I first was gonna work on this, I was like, fuck, I don't know what to do. Like I was kind of doubtful a little bit. It was like it's kind of funny because now I look at it, I was like, bro. It's a great piece of work. Like when I finish everything and start coloring and shading, that shit looked great. And then like I added the laser slugs, the blasts, and it's just great. And then like I just cherry topped it with the kanji characters, the Japanese characters.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. It was like, I like this.
Yeah,
I can't read a damn bit of it, but I like it.
Yeah, it's such a great.
Read a bit of it.
It's such a great piece of work. Yeah. But I can talk about like how I got started as an artist instead if you want.
Well, I was actually going to take the opportunity. We
Yeah,
can come back to that, and please remind me because I was
yeah.
going to take a. I'm gonna get into my podcasting bag. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing some research and transitions and things of that nature, right?
Okay.
So you said something about knowing your worth,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, so what are your thoughts about the whole about the writers going on strike,
Oh,
and then the significance of the actors standing behind them?
um, I think it first started as a writer strike, then the actors joined later. I kind of think it's like it because the whole argument, the points of it is like they want to get paid better.
Hmm.
Like you shouldn't hate on the celebrities who are staying with them because the reason why they're doing that is because they started off. Sure, maybe some of them was Napoleon into that kind of thing, but like a lot of them didn't start off not having residuals, not having like a good paycheck, and like the talks of AI, scanning actors' faces, give them the day's work, and then fuck it, we don't pay them anymore. We got the scans, we can figure it out ourselves. Background actors are not needed, shit like that. Honestly, I just think like it's crazy because the pandemic when that happened, a lot of streaming services got more viewers because you're stuck at home. You don't want to go out and shit. I mean, what the fuck are you gonna do? I mean, you can watch videos and movies, and then that's a streaming, that's a business, and the conglomerates have made a lot more money since then, and it's just like it's crazy. And did you ever hear that like there's some people who are part of the I don't know what's the name of it. It was like Saga something or Sage or
SAG AFTRA.
SAG AFTRA. Yeah,
Yes, SAG AFTRA. Yeah, yeah,
SAG
yeah.
AFTRA. Like
Yeah,
actors like Tom Cruise, they want a waiver just for they can promote their movie, and it's like, dude,
Are you
yeah,
He makes he makes some of the most money per movie.
yeah. I mean, that movie didn't do well as other movies compared to obviously Barbie, Oppenheimer event, but I don't
Okay,
know.
yeah.
It's just like I don't know, dude. You have to keep your priorities in check and not be like you can't really like flip flop and like
Yeah, it's
yeah.
like Tom Cruise being an EP on a film is less important than a writer actually making the story good enough for him to look like an actual good actor. Did I
Right.
just throw a little bit of slander at Tom Cruise? Maybe. I mean, how many Mission Impossible Bourne movies can we?
Take.
And I'm not saying they're not good. They are what they are.
Yeah.
But writers. Okay, so I have a few different perspectives of this because there's another creator that I follow that started off really small and now has his own studio.
Right.
His name is Kevin on Stage, and then he has another lady who is a part of SAG, and his podcast, Angel Moore or Angel Lakita Moore Tanksley, the actress. I just have to say the whole thing because I don't. Excuse me. I don't know any other way to get her name up
True.
because she hyphenated her name when she got married. But they have shared one him as having his own studio and having to pay, the SAG fees and that sort of thing, and then her being an actress for the last 15 to almost 20 years. Those residuals. So the first thing is when you're making content, at least if it's scripted, hell, even only thing that you have that non-scripted quote unquote is if you have like a show like a Jackass or reality television, and even still, there can be some sort of like a narrative that they want to be funneled in, but there's no actual writing.
That's true.
When you, but when you have things that are scripted, well, I guess I was about to say you can't be trash. You can be trash, but the shows that are written poorly and or don't have the right people in them, those those pilot episodes, they don't get picked up in the full series. They don't get to the point where they can even make residuals. That might be 2 or 3 weeks worth of work for some of these people.
Right.
And even if there's a quote unquote daily, like a daily limit on pay, like a lot of these guys to get opportunities, it's not like, so like me and you, we have like a job we go to, right?
Sure.
So we clock in, clock out, but we don't have an agent representing us. We don't have like a third party like finding these jobs that look right for us or what our vision is in life. We just go clock in. We have federal taxes. You know, we got the federal taxes, state taxes, and then like our bills, right? Or
Right.
Medicaid, Medicare, etc. They have those same taxes, but then they have to pay so whatever money that they make, they have to pay those people who found those jobs for them. At least the majority of them, because they don't have because it is a very okay, I don't want to sound wrong, but there's a lot more of a nepotism type culture, I believe, in Hollywood, or once you get to a certain level in Hollywood.
Right.
But just giving some like quick what you comes, I think there are over 160,000 people in SAG AFTRA, and to be a part of SAG AFTRA, like to be on a show of any sort that has any sort of what you come, you have to pay like a year, I think it's a yearly fee or whatever, so you have to pay to even be a part of this WatchaCon. But then as you pay, some of these people might not make, or those residuals might not make up what they actually pay. And it's like, I don't think it's anything crazy, but let's say you pay 150 to be, to be a part of this shoot, right?
Yeah.
Be the shoot of this pilot. That pilot doesn't get picked up, so that first season winds up on Netflix, and the studio was sold the show to Netflix or the rights to it for, let's say, 100,000, but you're somebody that was, like you're the cameraman. So
Right.
the cameraman, you're only getting a percentage of a percentage of a percentage anyway, if there is any. But so that first residual check when they sell the rights to Netflix to show it, might be like 1,000, right? Like, okay, that's a nice residual check.
That
But
is.
then the more people watch it, your residual checks may be $1, 12 cents, $3, $5 here, $2 there. That is no way in there. And I think they have a schedule of when those checks come, but you can't. It's not even a pack of bubble gum anymore. And I'm referencing those numbers off of the lady who was on Kevin on Stage's podcast. I told you she's been on. I think she was on General Hospital. It was a bigger show on ABC for 15, 20 years that she's been in commercials. She's done, like, she is still a working actress. Well, she get residuals, some of them for 200, and then one of them for 12 cents, and then one of them for 5 cents, one of them for $3.
Right.
It'll be a commercial that's still on the air, and it'll be like $2. Like, it'll be something she forgot she filmed. Because Samuel Jackson made a valid point. When you're in Hollywood, at least, if you're not working, then you're not getting paid. So that's a lot more. But it's a lot. There's so many people, and there's only a certain amount of opportunities. Like, so if you have 160,000 people all scraping for, and then 3,000 of them are cameramen, you can't have, all of them are not working at the same time.
Right.
These people are doing that because they care about the art. They went to school for it. They have bills, they have families, and the whole idea is a lot of these people can't go and just have. Dicks can't do just that, like, quote unquote, their passion, which I know isn't necessarily reality in all fairness. But if you went to school for something and then you're in the industry, you should be able, at least you should low key be able to expect to base level support yourself.
Right.
I'm not saying, have a house in the hills, in Calabasas with, up there with Kim and Kanye. Like, hey, friends, I just got the new Lucid Motors too. Like, no, not saying that, but you should be able to sustain yourself and have some sort of a livable wage.
Right.
A lot of these people don't. And I know some of the numbers that are thrown out. It's like, oh yeah, well, the basic, the working wage for a week in whatever, and if you have this position, it's 5K, and this, that, or the third. Well, okay, cool, but if you film 3 seasons, if you film, I mean, anymore, the streaming thing, the problem, at least the streaming thing, has made it so that you might film 3 or 4 seasons in a year, and they just take time to edit and et cetera, et cetera. So okay, so you've got a year's worth of quote unquote checks, but you still have that schedule. You still have those extra people. You got 5% going to your agent, 10% going to this person, and then your regular taxes. So you're not out of that 5,000 that you made that week for that week's worth of pay, you're not even doing like a normal like split where I register as head of household. Like regular taxes. Your money's going more places than it's not. So that's why a lot of people are trying to represent themselves, but that's a hassle. But that's the problem right now because the writers were getting even less than that. I can speak on it from the music side. You can go on certain platforms and upload yourself,
Yeah.
upload music, right?
Yeah.
it's more impressive when you see guys like J. Cole or, for example, like Anakintoye on from TikTok. I know him from TikTok, but guys that do all of this stuff themselves, so like they make their music, they do all the writing, and then they're the performance. Because a lot of the so they get like more of their quote unquote revenue once the music is out. Because these platforms take X amount, and then you have point zero zero whatever per stream, but the writers are locked at like 25% on the music side. So like each writer gets a certain percentage of whatever the quote unquote revenue is. So if that song doesn't do well, you're not getting anything. So like it was, I forget who the artist was, but he was just making a point that he had a song that he gave to Rihanna, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he could have. So the money that he made for giving it to Rihanna was like $1,500, but it got big. It was like $1,500, like on an immediate sense. Fat ass B just came out of nowhere. This is the problem with touching grass, people. Uh, but he made like 1,500, like quote unquote, more immediately when it popped off. But he was saying he could have, but because he was only listed as a writer, he made way less money.
Right.
But if he was but if he had to put it out himself, because he had already written it, put the music together, and if he had to performed it himself and gotten the same 3 million streams, he would have had closer to 10K instead of 1,500. That's a huge difference in money.
Yeah.
But that's the problem now too with a lot of these streaming platforms is it's not like typical television, so we can't really, at least as a consumer, because that's a lot of thing too. Like as a consumer, as a creator, you don't know how much Netflix is making per stream.
That's true. Yeah.
You don't know, like when TV, like at least I can only use the references I have, like with sports and TV. You could say, oh, like the NBA is always saying, oh, like this year was good because this is one of the best finals that have been at the best viewership per finals game that hasn't had LeBron James or Kobe Bryant in it, in the last decade, I believe, right? So that's encouraging. That means people are watching the games, right? It's just saying that basketball, like people are just enjoying good basketball and they'll tune in to watch it, and it doesn't have to be some quote unquote huge superstar because people don't consider Nikola Jokic a superstar or a global superstar at least, or Jimmy Butler. Like these are two teams that have varying opinions that aren't always in this media. They're in the media because they're winning, but not because they're so they have like the biggest names, right? But you can see but you keep seeing the contracts that the NBA is signing with all of these different TV companies with these brand deals, etc. And that's why the money keeps going up for the players and the owners respectively. You have some sort of a gauge. With streaming platforms, Disney doesn't have to report how much money they're making per. You just see that they spent 200 million on a show. I'm referencing specifically right now to what do you call it?
Secret Invasion?
Yeah, Secret Invasion.
Yeah.
And that did not look like a $200 million show. You think about that show did not look like it was 200 mil. And for 200 million, you would think, oh, there could have been a lot more X, Y, or Z, but you'd never know how much they went to come. I think they spent like 3 or 4 months worth of reshoots, and they cut a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But when you see the final product, it's like, where did all of that go? But that's a part of the problem because writers that were on that show, we don't know how much they got paid, but they had a rate. They got a rate, but people signed up, just for a month in and there was a peak. You wouldn't know that. We have no idea to know how much they're making per stream, so there's no way to quantifiably say how much a writer should be getting, how much an actor should be getting per quote-unquote contract. But that's the messed up part. A lot of these people are having to do 2 and 3 jobs, and then I don't like the threat of the whole AI thing, and oddly enough, Marvel kind of hinted at it with, what was that? She-Hulk.
Oh yeah, yeah.
She-Hulk. They had She-Hulk. They had instead of it being Kevin Feige, it was a machine called Kevin writing everything, like quote unquote writing the scripts. But that's why they kind of used that as a blame for why the show sometimes wasn't so what you call. But there's the same as music, the same as any sort of creation. It's impressive that an AI can take, or technology can take all of these pieces of Drake's voice and kind of put something together based on what it sounds like, what it interprets him to sound like. But the reason why it means so much to, like, any art means so much to someone is because there's feeling in it. There's an emotion. There's an inspiration. And that's kind of why I kind of guided you with that, but kind of guys like, so how did you think, like, how did you watch the comic? But see, it was all of your experiences that led you to make the artwork the way you did.
Right.
It's important, having like these when you see these actors going through these whatchacoms, like some of them are just so great that they've lived, plush cotton life, silver spoon, silver spoon, and they can just bring up a tear whenever because they're that great. But a lot of people have references, points in life that or quote unquote canon events. Shout out into the Spider Verse, but canon events. But those are things that you draw on, and that's why when I sit here and it's like, oh, I watched such and such, and wow, that really made me feel something, or
Right.
and I like that person, or I heard that and it made me feel something and that's why the writers, at least I feel like the writers, and I applaud the actors for standing behind them, because the writers are like, hey, without us, you're missing that feeling, you're missing the joke, you're missing the human emotion that makes some of this stuff so iconic. If
Right.
a machine could not write The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, a Martin, a Friends, damn sure couldn't write, a House of Cards, like some of the movies that we over the years. Now, if you told me a machine wrote, Venom 2 or Morbius, I believe you. Now, there's no offense to those people, but there wasn't. But that's why you see sometimes the people that care about telling a good story. So like a James Gunn, or people that like the comic book movies that are comic book accurate, but that are also good stories. It's usually somebody that cared about the comics, that the comics meant something to them, so they care about telling a good story, like a
Right.
good accurate story, and then a good filmmaker or a director. So like when you have the Batman films, right? The Batman trilogy that Nolan did, he was a great filmmaker, but some of those writers drew inspiration from the comic books, but they cared about the comics.
Right.
They cared about making and then Nolan cared about making a good film. They came together, fusion ha, and we have one of the best trilogies and one of the best, three of the best superhero films ever put to ever put to the silver screen.
Right.
That's what I feel like Hollywood or Hollyweird and what some people call it is missing right now. So it's I stand with them completely. And shout out to, I think there was, who was it? Blumhouse? Was it Blumhouse or somebody else? But Blumhouse
A
actually has gotten
24.
A24. There you
Yeah,
go.
A 24.
A24 has already gotten, like, they've been quote unquote cleared, or they've gotten a waiver because they've already agreed to do what they what you call. But see, I think it's crazy how a studio that clearly uses much smaller budgets, and Megan M3gan was terrible. It was a good meme, but the best scene was like some of the best scenes were in the movie itself, and yes, they left it open for like a sequel, and I did pay to go see it. Date nights are a thing, so I did pay to go see it, but and it was a movie. It's crazy that a studio quote that you would look at quote unquote that makes so much quote unquote less on much smaller budgets
Yeah.
can just be like, all right, cool. Like if this is what it takes, like if this is, it's like, okay, you guys are complaining, quote unquote, but it makes sense. If this is what you guys need to continue to make us like, that's any industry, which blows my mind. It's like if you need people to make the money, why treat the people like crap? So that's never made sense to me, and that's in the industry, because if the money that you're making directly results on the people. I'm not saying you have to pay them, like I'm not saying you have to make them feel great about it, because a job is a job,
Yeah.
sure. But when you pay people more on average, the average person will care more because they feel like they're getting, like, you're trading your time, you're trading your energy, your emotional, you're making emotional sacrifices. It's, your physical sacrifice, whatever your job is. There's some part of you that is leaving, that you're sacrificing to make this, to make this money, to be able to sustain yourself.
Right.
They're in the space where, at least they're in the space where we know, like we see, okay, this show made we put 85 million into this movie. It made 300 million. It made a billion. We put 300 million and made a billion. We probably spent 50 million on marketing. And the actors are the actors, they made their money, like they're what's it called. There's a lot of money that's not going, quote unquote, that's not getting back to these guys. And then and then while they're struggling, figuring out how they're going to get gas to get to, wherever they have to be for maybe to even do work because
Right.
COVID they've stopped letting people work from home and et cetera because sometimes in an environment where art is made it's better to have a room of people as opposed to people just in various spaces putting stuff together, overlays here, overlays there. Oh no, you used the wrong program, et cetera. That can cost time and money too.
Yeah.
but but it's crazy that while these writers and these people that are busting their tail to make sure that these things are being done well, done right, because they know if they don't do them right, they're gonna get, I won't say blacklisted, but they're gonna get less work.
Yeah. That's true.
If you're seen as a director that had two or three bad films anymore, you're not going to get the same amount of work. You're not going to get the same amount of opportunities. Just because it's like, well, somebody else can do it, and somebody else can do it better and cheaper. And that's a part of the problem with the AI argument. It's like we're not looking for humans to do it better and cheaper anymore. We're looking for like cheaper options than that. And it's like, oh, here's a machine. Okay, cool. But then when you eliminate, like, what happens if that machine makes a bad movie? Who can you blame it on? Oh, guess I'm gonna blame it on the owner. Well, the owner's never gonna take any crap. Owner's never gonna take any crap. But while these people are watching, wondering how they're gonna get to feed their kid that day, I guess we'll get the $6 cheeseburger special at McDonald's today. Whatever CEO they just that they happen to follow on social media just cashed out and got a new yacht, or just bought a brand new car that's literally three times what they even made. Like,
Right.
or their kid is joining whatever. So it's like it's the imbalance. But it's crazy to me that, as I said, a company that makes significantly, I feel like A24 is always kicking out movies too. Like, they're
Um.
really consistent.
Nah, bro. Like, Midsummer. I think that was with Midsummer. There's Midsummer, Hereditary, Talk to Me, Everywhere, Everything, Everywhere at Once. Um,
Everything Everywhere All at Once was like that.
that was a great film.
That
Yeah.
was a great movie. But it's like
Yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna look it up real quick, and you can jump in there if you got anything. But it's like I feel like A24 as a studio has been a lot more consistent with projects over the, like, coming out with films and stuff to
Yeah.
to do over the last. Oh hell, they just came out with Talk to Me. I didn't
Yeah.
realize that was them.
Apparently,
That
it's
was I
good.
know that was a big thing.
Yeah.
There's certain stuff I don't mess with. Now I know I laugh at a lot of horror films, but I don't know what it is. It's like spirits and opening doors and shit like that. Take me out. I'm out. I don't. Mm-mm. A light flickered too many times. That ain't the power. That ain't the cable. That ain't the power bill. Somebody in his old John Deere. John Deere's imaginary floating arms over there fucking with the lights, and I'm out.
Um.
So it's like, cabin trips or not. Don't invite me.
ha-
Don't invite.
have you ever seen Hereditary?
Hereditary. I actually, yes. I don't know how
Yeah.
or why, because I won't say it wasn't on purpose, but I think it was probably just like on the television at one point, and I was like,
Okay.
yeah, I just kind of locked in.
Uh,
See, like this year. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I saw it in theaters when it premiered, and I was like, I, I don't know what made me go watch it, or like
Hmm.
or like why did I go, but like we watched it, and like I'm not gonna lie, I have it was a great movie. Like it's so strange because like there's one particular scene, spoilers, if so, no,
Spoilers.
it came out
If you don't like it,
2017.
then skip like 2 minutes
Yes, yeah, it's, or
or
something,
shut up,
or shut up, yeah.
or go watch it and
Go
come back.
watch it. Go watch, come back. So you know
I
that
don't.
scene.
'Cause it's like 2 hours and some change. So don't. Just stay here and listen to Kev
Right.
and make your own decision and make a comment. All right, go ahead. My bad, Kev. Go ahead.
That's cool. But like, it's really cool how like, you know, when a scene where the kid is forced to take his sister to the party, and then then she's allergic to peanuts, and she eats like a fucking brownie peanut, and then like she's in the car sticking her head out the window like.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And like the tone of the movie just changes when she gets struck in the head of a telephone pole, and it's like, bro, like that's when the movie really became the movie for me, and I'm like, what the fuck? It's crazy. Then like later on, like, oh, the mom's possessed, and she's like on the fucking ceiling, banging her head against the fucking wall, that the door of the attic. And it's like, dude, that shit's crazy. Like that's crazy. That's nuts. Like
They have been I mean, I guess they would be mostly a like a horror, like thriller type. What you call?
Yeah.
But okay, so I was just going through the list of like the movies they've. I didn't know they've been around since what 2013 for real.
I guess, yeah.
So they're fairly new. What you call? But I know the first movie I was aware of them was Ex Machina.
Is that based on the game? No, that's the Ex Machina.
Right. So this is the
Ex Machina is some biblical
So
thing, I
that's
think.
with I did. Oh, that was Oscar Isaac, but it was a film written directed by. It's the one with like the girl that got like a stomach. She's like a robot. I didn't see the whole thing, but
Robot stomach,
it's
no.
yeah. Can you see it?
Oh, it looks familiar, but nah, nah, never
Okay,
seen it.
but long story short, I know that was the first movie I watched it on. But see, like the budget was 15, and then they made like 37. But I know it got a lot of like critical acclaim. That's the first movie I knew them for. But then, so that was like the 2010s. But then the Green Room. Why is that familiar?
It has the
Oh
guy
yeah,
who plays I forget his name. He played Xavier in the X Men movies. Um, I always pass by when I go on Netflix. Yeah.
okay. So here's a great example of what I'm trying to say. Right here's this what's it called? So in 2017 they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 movies come out.
In 2017.
In 2017, they had 15 movies come out. In 2018, they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Oh, so they have 15 in 2018. In 2018, they had Hereditary.
Oh, okay, I was close. Yeah. Damn, man.
2019, 2019, they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. At 21 in 2019, and they had Uncut Gems that year. They had The Lighthouse that year. Skin, Midsummer was that year. So my point is, this is a studio that doesn't have the backing or the money that a Disney has, a Netflix has, because Netflix just greenlights anything. You telling me Netflix couldn't pay some people as opposed to putting out Mulligan for crying out loud? Have you seen that?
Mulligan? No, I never even heard of it.
It's dog water. It's actually dog water. It's great. It's canon. It's great fodder for sleep. Okay, great fodder for sleep. But my point is, this is a what's it called that has, and no, not every movie is. I think that's the problem. I think too many of these studios are trying to make you like put in a lot of money, so they can get a lot of money back. But here's a
Yeah,
studio that is putting out
a lot more
film after
movies.
like
Yeah,
cranking the stories out, and
yeah,
they're just like, hey, we'll give a voice to the you maybe to somebody that isn't the best writer, right, or the best like the most visionary storyteller, right?
right.
But every time I see him, and I know I'm exposed to a lot of these movies through the kill count and film what is it?
Cinefilms or Cinesens.
Yeah, yeah, definitely Cinema Sins, and then the other one is Found Flicks. There we go, Found
Oh
Flicks.
yeah,
Found,
Found Flicks. Yeah,
remember dude's name, but he doesn't. He reviews a lot of this stuff, so I'm exposed to a lot of it, like these type of movies through them.
yeah,
But it looks interesting, and that's a lot of the problem. They keep trying. I think the big studios keep trying to rework or reinvigorate used ideas where they could put 15, 20 million into something that may not what you come. People are out here telling good stories, but you know what those people are? Writers.
yeah,
They're directors. You have to pay people fresh, and they're not. And I'm clearly these aren't. They're not asking for a crap ton of money. A $15 million budget isn't a lot, and I don't know that ever see a whole bunch of. I think this is probably some of the most marketing I've seen for a Midsummer movie. I mean, not for an A24 movie, and Talk to Me, and then most of that's on like YouTube.
right.
Like I'd be surprised if they spent three, like 2 to 3 million in advertising, because advertising is a lot different now than it was then. Like then you'd have to pay, those Super Bowl ad spots used to be like $2 and $3 million a piece for 30 seconds. That's not advertising anymore. You could have Instagram posts. You have 13 seconds of the movie with with a quote from when you had it at a film festival from three different film directors, and that's your promo. You got 12 seconds of that, and you could run that on Instagram a million times,
Right.
and it won't be anywhere near a. It's not $1 an impression. That's a crazy that or $1 that or what you call, but you're gonna get hundreds of millions of impressions because social media is a thing now. Like it's I think there's still at least some of these studios and trying to hang on or make so much money, they're not giving the proper opportunities. But as I said, A24, they've already like coerced into doing stuff the right way, and they're already seeing the benefit because they get to keep making movies. They keep being able to give people voices, etc.
Right.
People opportunity creatively, and they're going to benefit from it because while no one else can work, if you work with A24, work. I think the only other thing I will say is personal shout out, I guess, in recognition to Viola Davis.
Davis.
She has a movie coming out, but it's her studio, and I
Oh,
think
okay.
she's also starring in it. I don't know the whole name of the whole shebang, but she is. And there's something else I just saw, Tony Baker and somebody else, but he's Michael Jai White. It was SAG AFTRA, and they actually got permission because they agreed to everything, but SAG AFTRA approved them to go ahead and promote the film. Like, so they're not like so they're still standing in solidarity while rocking with the movement. So
Right.
it's nice to see stuff like that, and I hope. If anything, I hope a lot more people that have their I say smaller, but like smaller studios that might not have had the opportunity to push and because movies are still like I guess the stuff that's already made will come out, but some of these smaller creators, I say smaller, as in they're still absolutely huge in regards to what the whatchacom is, but they're not like, you know, giant conglomerates. But I hope some of them get the opportunity to have their films seen and outside of just specialty theater that tries to host. Like you remember the movie Belle that came
Uh,
out like years ago?
the Disney movie, the Beauty and the Beast movie.
No, it was a who is that?
Is it
I'm forgetting her name.
is it
And
an animation or is it real live action?
no, it was live action. It was what was Homegirl's name? She was in anyway, long story. Like those movies that you see that are
Mm-hmm.
like really artsy, but they're like only available at certain theaters.
Yeah.
So like it's like so I hope some of these creators get opportunities to have their movie seen in bigger theaters
Right.
as opposed to just the ones that are focused on trying to make sure that something like a Bell, which is a very small movie, like the stuff that kind of shows the movies that you might not hear from a film festival until like 4 years later when they finally got the right enough money to promote it, or the right backing, or a big studio. If you ever hear about them, because there are a lot of movies at film festivals that do really well, but and a lot of these movies I'm learning this watching different people have been at film festivals for years. It just takes time for it to get in the quote unquote mainstream because there's so much stuff already scheduled, taken up by big bastards who won't pay anybody. So,
Right.
back for a better term, you know who I am, Kev. I gotta plug my computer up, but I'm listening. I still got the headphones on.
Okay, cool. Um, just going randomly. Have you watched any Evil Dead movies?
I have not.
Oh, okay. All right.
Go ahead. I mean, you can make
No,
your point though.
no. It's like, I recently saw Evil Dead Rise, when it premiered. That was a couple months ago. I believe it was April. You're not into like, you said you're not into like horror, spirits, that kind of thing.
Well, I mean, it depends, right? Because like some stuff I just laugh off. Like when I first saw The Boy, I fell out laughing.
The Boy.
I act Yeah, so it was a horror film. It was like actively felt out laughing, right?
Okay.
Like it's just I can still get a good jump scare. I still appreciate, like that still gets me
True.
a jump scare. Um, the type of stuff that throws me off is like they just said, but Get Out,
I haven't seen
like
it.
the psychological thriller type shit,
Yeah.
as the shit that makes me question what I know. What to come is like that's the type of stuff that is like like the type of stuff that intellectually unsettles me. That's the type of stuff that like like I don't know how I feel about this one. But that one and the very blatantly like talk to me. I'm not gonna lie. If it comes on the TV, I'll probably watch it. But to go sit there voluntarily and be like, yeah, I'm gonna watch them go in and welcome these random spirits to possess. I don't. I don't know what it was. As a child, what was that? As a kid, what movie? I just saw the trailer for The Exorcist. It was like that hoe was floating in the air, being possessed by some nah. Then you keep saying this is inspired by real events. Ain't nowhere I never been. I've been worried about a spirit being somewhere, but I guarantee you, if something looks sketchy, and or I see some upside down crosses and something in real life, I was never there. 'Cause I'm not gonna be in those areas. I remember when they were talking about Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the one that they did on Netflix. They had made they were like the church because there was a scene where she like basically walked into like a devil worshipping type of establishment and was like what, but it's like but they were like they copied images from an actual real church and was like what the
Yeah, there's real churches like that.
almost like as I said, take me out. It's
Okay.
like so not only did they what's it called, but y'all just in here, thugging it up to some like what type of music is that? Is that a Baphomet worship church? I don't know. It don't matter. My point is, take me out. I'm not actually participating. I watch a cartoon and be like, that's unsettling. It's like I know it's animation. I don't like this very much.
All right, so my point is like it's so the Evil Dead franchise isn't like that as much. It's more like the main character who's played by Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
The first movie it's more horror, but what made the movie the franchise more iconic, I would have to say Evil Dead 2, and because
Okay.
it's more of a comedy horror. The main character
Okay.
gets like he gets like I guess a sense of humor, I guess, and like I would recommend you to watch those. They're pretty good. I haven't seen the 2013 one of Evil Dead. I forgot what it's called.
It's like a zombie jump, right?
It's not a zombie thing. They're called Deadites. So basically, I'll give you the gist of what happens. So a let's say an archaeologist, he uncovered the Necronomicon. It's basically the Book of the Dead. He reads some
Okay.
of the passages. He allows an evil entity appear in our universe, and that entity controls. Basically, his whole mission is to just kill everyone. I guess I don't know. And so
Real stand-up guy.
yeah, the main
Jesus.
so the main character has to survive that attack, and that's the gist of the thing. I would recommend that to you. It's pretty good. The reason you don't even have to watch one. You could probably watch the second one, which is Evil Dead 2. Then you can watch the third one, which is Army of Darkness, if you want. It's more of a comedy than a horror or anything. I believe Army of Darkness was shot in the 90s or 80s. The first movie was actually funded by Stephen King, just to let you know.
Oh wow.
And,
Okay.
and these movies are very known for their horror, their one-liners. They're pretty iconic. Like, do you know that one movie? It's that one scene where this guy's walking with sunglasses and he has like a shotgun. He walks into a bank and he's like, "I'm here to do two things." This isn't verbatim, but like, I'm here to do two things: chew bubble and kick ass, and all bubble gum.
Yeah, I've heard that line.
Yeah.
Like reiterated in various ways over time.
Yeah, so
That's
like,
what it's from.
I don't think so, but like there's like certain things, like how like Arnold Schwarzenegger will say like one-liners and like I don't know,
Right.
like
Hasta la vista,
I still a
baby.
baby. Yeah, basically Sam Raimi is oh yeah, it's directed and written by Sam Raimi. I forgot to mention that.
Oh, I'll watch it. I'll watch it.
Sam Raimi.
Samuel's great.
He's a great
Samuel's
guy.
great.
Yeah.
He's the only reason Into the Multiverse was bearable. The Doctor Strange movie.
I don't get it. Like I liked it, but like a lot of people don't like
No,
that movie.
I like it for what it was, but like and you know who I am. I'm one of those people. I understand people wanting to have a Doctor Strange movie,
Yeah.
but it was really just like an extension of WandaVision. Like, but then I also understand like it's a conglomerate, and Marvel's like wink, wink, ha ha ha.
And we're back.
We had to do a quick stage transition.
Yeah.
for whatever reason, Tony Stark isn't real and hasn't put together a real arc reactor in every computer. So I had to charge this thing like a normal human.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
um,
We were talking about Evil Dead. I have another horror recommendation if you ever have the time. It's on Max. Max.
right.
Um,
I'm sorry. So. Okay, but go ahead. I'm listening.
it's called Barbarian.
That sounds familiar for some reason. It's
Um,
because of you?
I don't know if I ever told you about it, but it's on
Huh.
Max. I'll give you the gist of it. Imagine you book a Airbnb and someone else is
Hmm.
living there, and it's like, oh, that's weird. Two people book two different Airbnbs, but it's the same place. And it's like, what the hell? And it's like, it's raining. You're tired. You decide to sleep with that, not sleep with that person, but like, you decide to share the
Hey there.
house, and it's like
Mhm.
that's cool. And then like, you hear something, and the other person's gone or some shit, and it's like, holy fuck. You hear some noise in the basement, and then you cover a secret entrance, and it's like, what the fuck. I know.
Mm.
That's a good one.
Mm.
I like that one. Um,
Mm.
the guy who directed this movie, he also did this movie. I don't remember the name of it. I don't remember the director's name, but he directed this movie where how Human Centipede was kind of fucked up. It's like that, where like,
Oh,
he takes some dude and he turns him into like a human walrus. It's crazy. I don't know the name of it. Name of it.
oh.
That's the same
For
director.
some reason, I'm about to say for some reason I do know.
Yeah.
I do know about that one. Probably because of Flicks, honestly.
Yeah, I'm sure Fix has talked about Barbarian, but I would recommend you to watch that whenever you can. It's great. I like it. I gotta rewatch it.
Okay,
Yeah,
but I,
yeah.
will- I will I will do the looking upon that.
We could return back to my art background if you want, or we could talk about because I saw the music video, "Glimpse of Us" by
Oh,
Joji. Yeah, so like
okay, either one. You got the
either
reins
one,
on this one. I
either
feel like
one.
I talked a lot. I feel like I talked a lot on the last one. So
It's all right. Um, I'll talk about "Glimpse of Us" because I did like it. It's fresh in my mind. Okay,
okay, all right,
so it's by Joji, by Glimpse of Us. It's weirdly strange because it's a very sad song. It's very melodramatic, and it's a sad song.
mm-hmm.
And then like when you watch the music video, it's like, what the fuck? It's like, dude, is this what happens when you break up with someone? You go through your villain arc or some shit.
Well,
It's uh-huh.
I feel like okay. So, what was your opinion on the video? Go ahead, talk to me.
It's like
Talk to me on that first.
it seemed to me like this guy, he just he broke up with the girl he's talking about in the song, and it's like he's just doing all this fucked up shit, and it's like he's just going through the destructive path. And my thing is like, how did he do it? Like, is this real footage, like live footage, or like? But it's like it's strange because I feel like if that was live footage, he would have been arrested and shit, And it looked very real. It looked
Mm-hmm.
very amateur footage, which is fine because that's what your aim is. And it's like it's crazy. I liked it a lot, and it was like, honestly, I should watch it again. And it gives like a different perspective about that song. It really does. Like,
Yeah.
what?
Okay, so you took one part. At least you took one part of it. I will say that was part of the. That was the, like, if this is real footage, he's in trouble, right?
Yeah.
But it looked very like mid 2000s cops, like it almost looked
Right.
like a GTA 5, like all the stuff that they were doing. But okay, so this is where the a little bit I exposed a bit of the musicality and the writing stuff in me, right?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Um, the video, at least to me, it was dope because so the whole idea is finding a version of finding an old version of yourself, right?
Oh, okay.
So at least the point of the song, because like but a more so for the song directly, a glimpse of us is the relationship, right? Like trying to fall in love with this new girl, but he can't really because he's he's still in love with this other girl, his ex, the one that he
Oh.
left, right? So he's trying to catch a glimpse of them, right? But the video, when you see the video, at least it's not even like necessarily the breaking up. Well, I guess you could say the breakup part, but you had something similar, something similar. But like thought process for me was like when when you're like younger, you always have a vision for yourself, right?
Yeah.
Always have a vision for yourself, and then life happens. You get in a relationship, work, whatever the case may be. You wind up deviating from that, right? But when you wind up finding people that are similarly minded, everyone wants simplicity. Everybody is trying to get back to it's trying to live with the reality that you have to pay bills, you have to work to pay those bills. But you want it to be like you want to have fun doing. Like you want to have that childlike feeling. You had no responsibility. You just kind of had to go to school, do enough to pass, and then go back home, play with your friends, that sort of thing, right?
Right.
So oddly enough, feel like they chose like a gang aesthetic, which isn't a problem, but it's the whole idea. But a gang doesn't have to be necessarily a negative influence for that video. I guess it was clearly doing they were doing the drugas and the vandalizing property, etc., etc.
Right.
But looked like for at least I feel like a part of it was like it was almost following kind of like one person, but then it just kind of followed all of them and showed that they were all the same person or different versions of each other.
Right.
Clearly, they had different lives, they had different girlfriends, different backgrounds, but they all came together because they were trying to find a version of themselves or a glimpse of who they used to be, a more fun, free, whatever. And when their girlfriends or their significant others came around, all of them were like, "Whatever, get that out of my face! Like, I don't know who this is, etc." But but all right, as as you watch like your friends grow up and you get into relationships, you realize like your partner doesn't know who you were before them.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't realize who that like, your partner doesn't know who you were before you met them, right? They only know the version of you that they what you call. But sometimes as you grow older, like you feel like I say you get older, but the more you are this new person, you're like, damn, I miss doing this, I miss doing that, I miss doing this. So what I think that video was like the extreme of it, but they found each other in like what's it called, but then they're trying to talk to their girlfriends. It's like no, I still love you, or whatever the case may be. I just want to do this. Like it's like that what's it called. You ever heard that clip like I want to do ratchet stuff with my friends? They just took it
Yeah.
like to the extreme, and now they can't go back, right?
Right.
So now the song takes the what's it called of regret because they did separate from their partners trying to find this old version of themselves, this glimpse of us or who they used to be.
Right.
And in doing that, they went too far, and now it's a song of regret, like a glimpse of us in regret, because we realized that in the video, clearly they're having to run for their lives. Like they realized they weren't those people anymore. So it's
Right.
like for maybe 2 or 3 days, it could have been cool. It was like a really cool. At least I took it like a cool kind of character study into like because that it had multiple like kind of like avenues you could take in the whole story writing. But you know what that's a good sign of good writing and art. Okay, somebody had to write that video, somebody had to write the song, somebody had to perform the song, those people had to act what someone wrote and then what someone else directed. They were probably paid well for it. But you see how I, as the consumer, just like look at this, and maybe this happened, maybe that happened, maybe they got here by there. That's good storytelling. I've watched that video 40 effing times. One stream of A17 streams is an album sale. He's gotten at least 2 albums out of me. Okay, 2 1099 purchases from one song.
Damn.
That's how you make money.
That's how you make money.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. No, I don't have anything to add. It was good. It was a good music video. Definitely. Very interesting.
I know you are the more of the art in film execution person.
Yeah.
I just like taking the imagination and oh, what if this happened?
Right.
If it helps, What If from Marvel was one of my favorite series. So
What if Marvel is I love the finale. It's just it's so good, like bro.
it is.
It's so free will, Like
It's like I'm what it's like if the imagination is like is wacky or weird or
yeah.
like really what's it called, I'm into it.
Yeah.
I can deal with like the normal. Of course I still love my Fast and Furious, good old cannon fodder, basic ass popcorn. But sometimes it's nice to have like a icy flavored popcorn, or
Yeah.
a honey sriracha, if you will,
Right,
so,
right, right.
just a little something, little kick, little spice. But
Like
yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed the video. But that was my But that was damn. I guess I didn't intend it to be like a hey, this is how you make money thing, but it kind of turned into that, which is what we call what good content.
All right. IGN gave What If series a 5, right? A 5 out of 10.
Using IGN as a metric for good for what's to come, that's like using Rotten Tomatoes. I find myself disagreeing with them a lot.
I do too. Yeah, like I just feel it's whack though. Like I like really a 5? Like did you not watch the finale? Like the fuck, dude?
It's like, okay, I'm gonna get into it, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like sometimes comic book fans get too wrapped up in what they knew in their hearts and minds and fell in love with as a child, where the feet were triangles and the kneecaps were squares, and and you had different artists making. They had a lot of great stories to pull from,
Yeah.
right? But if it was just about like, at least I say comic book fans, Marvel fans,
Yeah.
because DC's animation is great.
It's great.
DC's live action is largely poop du jour. It's premium poop. It's high price poop. Okay, it's like OnlyFans model farts in a jar for 12K and some random stooge paid for it. Poop. Okay, but the animation,
Very
peak.
good. Very good.
I ke- I think that what Marvel fans expect from animation is what DC fans get in animation, and what DC fans want in live action is what Marvel gives us in live action.
That's funny.
Because I know it sounds crazy, but it's ridiculous that we've had 18 different versions of Batman. I know it's not actually 18. I'm dragging it, but there's a lot of versions of Batman and Superman. But we haven't had a singular cyborg film. The second Wonder Woman movie was an absolute joke. And no, it's not because comic book fans hate movies. It was absolute dog water. Okay, it was actually dog water. It was actually bad. Because and that was inspired by a comic book too, and it was written. No, it was just bad. Okay, um, I feel like too many people are wrapped up in what their expectations are of the comic, and I don't think what people realize is that okay, animation is probably the closest to a comic you can get. Right,
Definitely, definitely.
is the closest you can get to a comic. So one company clearly does that better than the other,
Yeah, definitely.
but it's like, but what they don't even realize is that what the MCU is. Like Iron Man wasn't one of the premier super people. Like they had sold off the rights to like so
Spider-Man, Hulk,
the Spider Man, Hulk,
X-Men, of
uh
course.
X-Men of course, the Fantastic Four. Its Secret Invasion and the Skrulls was initially a huge foray into like, it was a huge whatchacom for the Fantastic Four first.
Ah,
And then it became, and then like because they're like, oh wait, this person is a scroll, and wait, oh that person is a scroll, and they've infiltrated all these whatchacoms. Holy crap! It's a secret invasion,
right.
right? But Marvel's just getting back some of those characters, or the MCU is.
Yep,
But that's the thing: if you don't like it, you don't have to watch it.
that's
You
true.
keep putting out all of this crap about it. I don't like it. It's not like what I remember. Then go read the comics.
Right.
Shut it up. Like it's a creative, and I say it's a what's called. They're taking creative liberty on the stuff on the content that are what's called. Now here's the thing. The other part is you didn't have an opportunity to say you didn't like something if they did a what if as a kid, because there is a what if storyline that is there are what if storylines that are utterly horrible. Like when all of the like when all the Avengers don't get their superpowers, like none of it works, and they're all just eaten alive. Like the
Right.
Hulk is eaten alive every day, and what's it like? The Hulk becomes the Hulk, but he's eaten alive every day and literally just regrows from his skeleton and a piece of muscle that's left over every time. You want to see that animated? You want to see that on a big screen? Is that what you really want? Oh, we never saw Hulk have his kid. We never saw him have Scar. Do you want to see the storyline with the Hulk family? Where it's him and his cousin because they're the only two that can deal with each other, and then they have an inbred hillbilly Alabama family. Do you really want that? Or do you really want that, or do you want the storyline where Norman Osborn and Mary Jane had a kid, like when Mary Jane cheated on Peter willingly?
I didn't know that one. What the fuck?
I'm saying there's some very dark storylines within comic books. Like, do you want them to what to come? Like, do you want to see this stuff? Is that what you're asking for? Because, or like, they're like, what if is just that? What if? So this time we got to see a version of a multiverse where Vision or Ultron actually gets the body. And what to comes and Killmonger did this instead of that. Like he protected Tony Stark, etc. Right? We got to see what if T'Challa is what to come, right? So it's like appreciate it for what it is.
Yeah.
Because it's just a what you call okay, T'Challa is Star Lord instead of Peter Quill, right?
Right.
He still stopped Thanos, but it wasn't stopping Thanos as in he's like, "Where's my Gamora?" Blah, 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 blah. Emotional little peon. I can't get girls unless they're aliens.
We gotta talk about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Okay, yeah, we will because
We
it was
got
actually really good.
It was very good.
It's actually really good. But
Yeah.
we got to see, like, what if T'Challa was Star Lord instead? He stopped Thanos because he convinced Thanos, hey, there's a different way to achieve what you're trying to do. We can do it this way, X, Y, or Z. You could appreciate, and you see, I'll put it this way. I watched What If one time, Kev. You see how I'm just able to pull it? Because it was written well enough. I'm not so tied to the comics that I can appreciate what the MCU was trying to do.
Right.
I don't like the argument that, oh, I don't like watching the TV shows because X, Y, or Z. Miss Marvel, like with Kamala Khan, was very well done. And no, I do not know a lot about Middle Eastern cultures, but I was able to appreciate what they were able to pull,
Yeah.
and I'm sure they showed X amount of respect to the cultures. Now, it's not my bag; I can't speak to that, but I was able to appreciate what they did, and I see they're going to work it into the what's it come. And I'm not trying to be funny. She's going to be the best part of that movie. Okay,
I agree. She's a
best
good
part of that
actress. I don't know. Her
She's a
name.
good actress, and her character is compelling, and she has huge comic book implications, and we saw
Yeah.
that. We saw that. I guess that was America. That was America Chavez, but the light type powers she has, like Miss Marvel, has huge comic book implications.
Right.
But it can pull. It's like if there were only supposed to be one version of every character, Thor would still be built like Arnold Schwarzenegger in the 90s, in the mid 80s and 90s, walking around with fake metal,
Plates.
uh, baubles on his chest and on basically an acid trip. Like there'd be no progression.
Right.
Your comic books changed over the year. That's why DC, the New 52, we're killing this character because you keep giving everybody what they want. You're gonna get to the point where you can't keep up. That's why the New 52 exists. If you didn't know, because they had so many characters that they had to pull it back down. And no, they didn't rehash every origin story, but some people's origin stories changed. Lex Luthor's such a good villain because sometimes he's a hero in certain storylines. That's why you like Superman as a villain sometimes, because you get sick of seeing the same shit.
That's true.
And here's the thing: do you want to see? And everybody loves Iron Man now. Do you want to see the storyline where Iron Man was charged, where he came up with Extremis instead of Killian Murphy, or what was the dude's name? Killian whatever. But the dude who came up with who started selling Extremis and was
It was like,
trying to help quote unquote the troops for AIM, right? Oh no, that was Justin Hammer.
yeah,
That was
that's
Justin
Iron
Hammer
Man.
was a part.
That's Iron Man 3. I forgot
But
his
but basically,
name. Yeah.
but long story short, Iron Man and this other alternate universe comes up with Extremis, and he gives everybody a 7-day free trial. And what Extremis does, makes you the best of whatever you want of your life, quote unquote. That's what it makes it. So if I wanted to walk around being built like Luke Cage, which is literally my effing goal, hence Don Luke Cage, but but it's like if I wanted to walk around like Luke Cage, I wouldn't have to touch the gym. I'd go and eat half the planet right now and still be built like Luke Cage. But guess what? After that 7-day trial, what's Tony Stark gonna do? Tony Stark charges people $100 a day to keep using this Extremis. He healed Daredevil's sight to
I
try
know
to get
that.
Daredevil on, huh?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, this is the alternate storyline, but this is a what's it called where after this is the alternate universe where all of the heroes, like, so all of the villains, so the Magnetos, all of the villains are heroes now, and all the heroes are villains. So like they switched roles in this alternate universe because of some massive whatever. And I'm pretty sure it was a part of the House of M storyline, but I might be tripping. But basically they switch roles. Iron Man is a straight up villain, and he charges people $100 a day to keep using this extraness. And Daredevil is one of the people that stands against it, but he heals Daredevil's sight. He tells him that if he joins him, he can keep it for free, basically. If not, he's gonna go away at 24 hours if he doesn't join him. And right as Daredevil gets, and this is the first time Daredevil's ever seen any of the world, right?
That's crazy.
So then he get, but then right as his sight is disappearing, or right his sight disappears as he actually sees his best friend Foggy for the first time, right?
Right.
That means what? Daredevil, even when this universe switched, his moral code is so strong that he chose not to join something inherently bad to what's-it-called. So that made Daredevil a more likable character, a more relatable character, right?
Right.
This is it, but that's the thing. But that's the alternate universe. Do you want to see that in the film? Do you want to see RDJ being an absolute what's-it-called? Because in another universe, RDJ is the bad guy. You want to see that? You want to see Iron Man being Thanos? There's a reason Thanos. They're literally the same person. Which is ironic that I like Thanos so much, but then like I like Iron Man so much because a suit around the world or preemptively striking anybody that has a problem is literally what Thanos was trying to do before all the resources run out. I'm just gonna take half of everybody out, haha, no problems, and I'll look down upon a grateful universe. Oh wait, you have emotional connection to these people? I'll just start everything over again. It's the same thing that Iron Man was trying to do with a suit in every city.
Right.
Because you realize you can't save everyone. You cannot be everywhere. They're the same person. At least they had the same ideology. But one of them chose to go about it one way. The other one chose to go about it by murdering everyone.
Ultron.
Ultron and or Thanos. So. But I'm saying, but do you want to see the iterations of your favorite heroes? Because it was cool in a comic book because you could read it and you knew when you put it away, this is the what's-it-called. What if wasn't canon, but you treated it like Ultron took over like Vision became Vision. It's like, no, I'm gonna go. What's the jump from Terminator?
T-1800.
Yeah, well, basically
Skynet.
Skynet. I'm gonna go Skynet and I'm gonna just end it all. Nah. That's what makes some of these characters good, because even the Killmonger in that universe, we still know he's bad.
Yeah.
So he's telling you that no matter what, he's kind of consistent in that he's not a great guy, right?
Right.
But even in Black Panther, he had a point. You just didn't like it because it wasn't something that agreed with you. Like, because you didn't agree with how he went about it, right?
Right.
It wasn't as palatable. It's politics. Oh, X-Men was supposed to be a parallel between Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X. One of them was a lot more action. The other one's about peacefully getting it done. End of the day, their goals were the same. They just appreciated One is the villain because of how he went about it. One is the hero because of how he went about it. At the end of the day, when it came to, one would just adopt the others, and one would adopt the others when it came down to it, right?
Right.
That made Charles Xavier a villain when they came in and started blowing up his school, and eventually he started with Magneto just for protection. Is that a bad thing? Is he a villain now? Oh no, my precious Charles. Oh Chucky, no! Like what are you doing? As a comic book fan, learn that the comics weren't even my point is. The comics, right? I fell in love with this series, right? Yeah. Or whatever the storyline was. This holds a place in my heart. Those characters didn't stay the same. You appreciate them because the writers wrote them to grow.
Right.
And sometimes the writers are the same, but the artists are different. So the vision or what they look like changed, right? So don't come to me and say, oh, Storm in this one was Egyptian and she was with Black Panther, but in this one she's just some random black girl from LA. Don't do that. Because there are iterations where you got Blue Hulk, you got Red Hulk, you got Green Hulk, you got Gray Hulk, you got Abomination. They're all stupid strong and on some sort of radiation.
I feel like I feel like fans like to nitpick a lot. It's like it's
That's
kind
what I'm
of
saying. It's like appreciate that. Okay, like appreciate that what you fell in love with didn't stay stagnant. So don't expect the studios that are that have so many iterations. And here's the thing too, a lot of y'all are soft. You could not have Norman Osborn out here with Mary Jane now, because if you had whoever they make Norman Osborn with your precious Zendaya, you'd make lose it. It's like, oh my god, I can't believe it. And then it wouldn't be, I can't believe MJ cheated. It wouldn't be the story. It wouldn't be the storyline for the comics. That it's like it wouldn't be focusing on that. It'd be, oh my god, I can't believe Zendaya cheated on Tom Holland like that. And that it's not real. It's fantasy. Grow up. And I'm not saying that I don't get my feels like that was just stupid. I didn't like that. I just had a rant last week about some stuff that I didn't like in the movie, but I didn't let it ruin my day.
right.
I've never actually liked Gwen Stacy the character. Like, and aren't they all in one iteration? They're all clones of each other, right? So that'd be weird. Did I do that? It's like when I'm sitting there watching Spider-Verse, they're clones of each other and they like each other. Narcissism at its worst. No, I didn't do that. I didn't watch Loki and it's like, and that was actually narcissism because it's literally just it's a female version of him.
Yeah.
He's a pure narcissist. I mean, I just sit there, oh my god, I can't believe they made Loki a redeemable character. But then he sat there and he likes himself. But no, you don't have a meltdown. Become some internet troll. Like, Twitter is not real life. Stop taking internet troll stuff into the real world and caring so much about fantasy. And if you don't like it, write something better. Go ahead. And I'm not talking about your little fan fiction Wattpad page 83 version of it, okay? No, bust your tail and take the character study. Oh, wait, you have to use the characters that already exist? Well, come up with something new. But take the characters that already exist, make something new, and push it. Now, I'm not saying Spider-Man Lotus is purity trash, but you could do that. You could do that. They took from... Now, you see... Now, there's a great example. Kev, call back to that episode. You should check that out, by the way. Haha, shameless self-promo. When Spider-Man Lotus was a fan who was so tired of all these horrible iterations of Spider-Man, because one Spider-Man was too cool. This Spider-Man's too cool. This Spider-Man is too hot. This Spider-Man isn't nerdy enough. This is like... So he was so tired of all of these Spider-Mans that he decided to make his own. He raised his own money and had all of these grander plans for it, right?
All right.
Then he created something that was absolute shit. Okay, for all the purpose and feeling that he had about all this stuff that was wrong, you start to see how hard it is to do the jobs of the writers, of the cameramen, of the random dude that you never see with the boom mic, or covering some poor bastard with a green screen so you can have him in the same, you can have him in the shot, or having a microphone, weaved in someone's ear or their beard, so you never know how they're picking up that audio, or having to redo, or having to refilm and reshoot. It is a difficult job. So first off, have respect for the fact that these people are doing something that you, don't know how to do and/or can't do on their level. And if you can, a lot of this stuff they don't care. They didn't care that they made a Spider-Man Lotus. Marvel did not come down with the hammer. Fuck your chicken strips. You can't make they didn't do that. Marvel didn't do that. It's like, okay, go ahead, pal. Go ahead and cook. In the intro logo, you're like, oh wow, this might actually be pretty cool. Then you start watching and you realize that like 20 minutes of this 2-hour film is just establishing shots that you can get off of, that you could get from a whatchamacallit. Like, these aren't brand new, drone shots. This dude just went on whatever you can, or like stockfootage.com and put it in his fan film, and then put one story into one thing, like one story for real, and then apparently referenced a one-off comic book that showed Peter Parker to be like, where Peter Parker's like, he's not a hero, like that questioning thing about himself. He referenced that and referenced it wrong. You're so hell-bent on making a good fan film that you did it wronger than they did. People gave you money. Those actors didn't make half of it. You wrote it, and this was a passion project by your standards, and you jacked it up. So there's an example of a fan doing all they can and failing. So go ahead, do it better. Go ahead. It's my sports podcast. I could talk about them guys all day long. One, I don't make $12 playing basketball a year. I probably actively lose money because I have to buy stuff to heal my damn self. I actually lose money playing basketball. Tylenol, ice packs, water, rehydration, things to stretch because my left ankle hates my existence when I wake up. Like I actually lose money, quote unquote, doing something that's a passion. And for as passionate as I am about it, I didn't put in the time, the effort, the energy, the money. I don't have the height for it, the skill gap. It's insane. I can play 2K. There are guys who literally do nothing but play 2K all year. Don't stream. Don't make go walk into a professional facility, and then do online competitions for 3 or 4 days and walk out with $250,000. I'm not. It's like, oh, I can do that. No, the f I can't. There's a difference. Like there are levels to it. You can do something. You can have a problem with something, but if what you're complaining about didn't stay stagnant, what you fell in love with didn't stay stagnant, then you shouldn't either. Open up your mind and appreciate what they're trying to do and what they have done, and realize how many stories have been told. And with all the other content that's out there, realize how many people are telling your stories. If you're so hell-bent on just getting the comics, go to a Comics Explained or guys like that. That'll just cover and read you to what you come. And you can get your excitement that way. I do that. That's how I know so much about different because I don't have the time to sit down at a Barnes and Nobles and read these comics anymore. But there's stuff out there. Like, if you don't like it, don't support it. Or if you do like it, and if it's that then get into the industry. Learn the trade. Learn how to get in there and/or make a YouTube channel. Fill in the gap that you believe that there is. But if you're not doing that, respectfully, shut your ass up.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I've effectively ranted for a good 20 minutes on comic book fans, period. All right? Because music fans, take me out. If I don't like somebody, whether it be what they stand for or the music, I just don't listen to it. I just don't.
I respect that.
If that means I have the same. If I have 40 songs carrying over on my top 100 for the next 4 years, then that's just what it is. I listen to what I like that makes me feel something. That's the music that I like. There's no reason to explain it. There's no need for me to explain why I like Ice Spice and I still listen to the Baby sometimes, right? And it's like, I don't actually think it's such great music because I have actually great music, but I like it. It makes me feel good. It makes me do a little jig, But that doesn't mean I'm not a super diehard fan. Yeah, right, yes, listen to everything. Yeah, like I'm not gonna growl at you if you like. I'm a huge Tyler the Creator fan. My girlfriend actively has not heard more than 3 Tyler the Creator songs. Did I break up with her? What do you mean you don't like Tyler the Creator? What do you mean? Did I turn into Bane or the Joker?
The Joker? No, you turned into the Batman, honestly.
What do you mean you don't like Bane? Why you don't even like Tyler?
You just hear you punch her hand.
Tell me now. Like I didn't. I don't know why you don't like Tyler the Creator. He's a wonderful artist. When he was banned from those countries, he was a young lad. I wonder what will break first when I play you this first album. Your spirits or your eardrums?
You're really good at impressions. What the fuck, dude? Oh my god.
I like listening to voices, and sometimes they bring me closer to the character. But
Cool.
Yeah, my point is, stop having such strong opinions about or own opinions that shit that don't matter for real.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, I understand the whole place is in our heart, but that's what makes us us. That's what makes them them. You find commonalities, and then you just kind of rock out in the free world and do. Shout out to Nardwar, the second most busiest music internet nerd, next to Anthony Fantano.
I know. Yeah.
But yeah, okay. I'm done ranting now.
That's cool.
Done ranting now.
That's fine. Okay,
So,
we could.
my big, because that would have been crazy.
Did you want to talk about Guardians, Volume 3?
We can speak about Guardians of the Galaxy. That'd be a great time.
Okay. Spoiler alert: if you haven't seen it,
It's on Disney Plus at
it's
this
on
point.
Disney
Just
Plus.
go watch it.
Go watch it. It's really good. I think it's James Gunn's almost maybe his best movie in my opinion. But
It is my favorite of the three.
definitely. All right, you've been warned. So I'll go into detail why I like about it. But like, I don't know, dude. Like the music choices. Like when they introduce what's the guy's name? The golden dude. I forgot his name.
Adam
Shit.
Warlock.
Who?
Adam Warlock.
Adam Warlock, like dun 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 dun. Like dude, like that's a song I never heard that I like, and it's like dude, like how do you do this? Like you just find songs that have died obscurity, you just bring it back to life, and it's like it's crazy, man.
I got to stop for 22 seconds because you brought up Adam Warlock, right?
Yeah, what about it?
They brought up Adam Warlock damn near 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And we're just getting him this, like, so many years later. Did you get upset about it because he wasn't in Avengers Endgame or Infinity War? No! Because in
No.
Infinity War, in the comics, Adam Warlock is actually the one who holds an Infinity Stone in his head, and he's a huge part of that comic book storyline.
Yeah.
Now that William Poulter's playing him, hey, we have Adam Warlock. So stop being picky about the characters that you like and that you don't like, and just
Right.
appreciate what the blip it is. It is a comic book interpretation. Okay, go ahead.
Do you remember the scene where like Gamora's like, "Don't come any closer, I'll kill him," and then he's like, "Don't be so rash." And I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Like, oh my god, like, it's crazy. When I forget Adam Warlock's his mom name, but like when he basically when the
Aisha.
mom Asia.
Aisha, something like that.
Okay,
She's like, yeah.
so when the mom tells Adam Warlock to make an example out of him, but like she wasn't implying
Oh, yeah.
to kill him, and he just goes like full power, like ah!
I didn't mean vaporize him. Well, you said make an example out of him. But you know what? Okay, go ahead, because I was about to say, Adam Warlock, I know some people had a problem with his
Yeah,
boy, the man has been in a cocoon. He's supposed to be the perfect man. All right,
Yeah.
the perfect being, quote unquote.
Sure.
Which is fine.
yeah,
Like comic book acting supposed to be like this. They build him to be perfect, right?
right,
Because that whole race is supposed to be that thing. Here's the thing. William Poulter did a great job because he's supposed to play a fish out of water. He's a child. He's a child. He has a 2-year-old brain or a 4-day-old brain with the ability to understand humans, etc., or like understand language. But he was literally born yesterday.
he's a man child, bro.
A man child. He did great, and you saw him progress even within the movie.
He
Like
did.
you saw character development within the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So like, but yeah, go ahead, because I know I saw a lot of stuff on the app formerly known as Twitter. It was like, oh yeah, I didn't like Adam Warlock in this. Adam Warlock in the comics is shut up, shut it up. It's supposed to be brand new.
Right.
Go ahead.
I didn't see anything of that on Twitter, but anyways, I don't know, bro. Like, I just feel like at the end of the movie, like the guy who plays the villain, there's a scene where
Oh my god,
he's so
I don't know that
good.
actor's name, but he's really fucking
He's
good.
great. Like he's like when his counsel are like kind of like, "Are you sure we should do this? I think we're all gonna die." And then she says like, "Oh my," like she says like for God's sake or some shit. And then he's like, "There is no God. This is why I stepped in." And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yo, I think that might be one of the better but that part of Phase 4 or 5.
I think we're on phase 4 right now, I believe.
Okay, he might be one of the better villains in Phase 4 right now. Because,
Definitely.
my god.
That was
Like,
great acting. Like,
I don't not that I was like, oh, but it was like, okay, yeah, I felt that. Yeah, that was. I was like, damn, that was like that's it. That shit to make you unsettled or what you call. That's a
yeah,
good feeling.
yeah.
And
He's a
he did that.
he.
He did.
Fuck yeah.
He did.
And then you gotta feel so sorry for Rocket. That story, his origin story, was so sad. Like when he screamed and when all his friends, no, the first friend died. I forgot her name. Lila. I think it was Lila.
Yeah, Lila. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
he just screams. He's like, dude, like, you just gotta feel bad for Rocket. It's like, damn, dude. And then there's a, I don't know if you caught this. In the beginning of the movie, he's working on a new gadget that has something to do with gravitational something, like gravitational control. And the end of the movie, what was the guy's name? The villain? Was it Creator or something? I don't know. Mind,
Um.
Mind Master.
Oh my God, I know his name and I'm drawing a blank right now.
And
God.
anyways, so the
Yeah,
villain,
we know who you're talking about. Yeah,
so
the
the
villain.
villain, he's like saying his experiment name, and then he uses the gravitation on him, pulls him to the ceiling, blah blah blah, and then Rocket reaches for his boots, and then he presses the button, and that's the device he was working on in the beginning of the movie, and he's like, my name is
Uh,
Rocket Raccoon, and it's, I'm like, bro, like what
that
the
movie.
fuck, like
That
it's
movie was so like you had to. Go ahead.
it's
Because
it's so it's great, like the fight scene in the end of the movie where they're playing Beastie Boys I forgot, is it No Sleep Till Brooklyn, is it that one, or
I think so. Yeah.
and it's like, bro, that fight scene was awesome. Like there was so much like really good scenes where like Groot like Groot like stretches his arm into someone's mouth and he explodes their fucking body with his branches
Yeah.
and shit. Drax
In
in
the
this
cheek, bro.
Yeah, like Drax in this movie got stronger. Like he's just throwing motherfuckers. That's crazy, like, bro.
I swear, I would say the fight scenes alone, because like I guess it's something that I've learned to appreciate, and I'll say like, especially like watching like Corridor Crew, like groups like that on YouTube and the like. It makes you realize how much choreography, how much stylistic there is, like how
Yeah,
much style there is, how much time these studios or the artists who make this stuff take into
yeah.
account when making this stuff or when making these scenes. But I remember just like having the biggest, cheesiest fucking grin watching every fight scene. It was like, this is great. Like, I could not be upset at it. Like, I was just like,
I know, like it's so good. Like that's the result of a good movie. A good movie that's written well, directed well, it had great concept art, had great ideas, had great background, had practical effects. This is what happened when you invest time and effort into things, you know?
when you have people that care about the source material and people that care about the art and the story that they're
Right,
telling.
right.
And then I'm not trying to be funny. I'd have to imagine for as much, and of course it's stressful. Any job is,
Yeah,
but when you have something like that, like you want to be paid fairly, right? Of
definitely.
course, that's what they're working. That's what they're working for. But there has to be a satisfaction when they sit down and see it all together.
Right.
All those hours of work, like that's something you can be proud of. I was gonna tell you, saw of a YouTube short, but it was a whatchacom. It was a no, of course it was New Rock Stars, but they're like secondary channel deep dive.
Mm-hmm.
They did a whatchacom, but Moonbottom in Into the Spider Verse, not
Oh,
Into the
okay.
Spider Verse,
Across
Across the Spider Verse.
yeah.
Moonbottom, it was of course it was Mumbai and Manhattan combined, but in New York it was styled. In New York, like all the buildings go up, up, up. Stylistically, they made it on purpose for Miles to keep falling. So because Mumbai goes further down, so like it goes like in direct reverse. But I'm sitting there like, because like it's details like that. It's like you don't realize in the moment, but when you see it, it's like it makes sense. But it excites you when you watch it come. But then the style that they used for I'm forgetting Spider that universe's Spider Man's name in the moment,
Which one?
but um,
North Spider-Man?
Botton's Spider Man.
Who?
No, not Spider.
Is it
Botton's Spider Man.
India Spider-Man?
Yeah,
Basically.
Spider Man did
Yeah.
basically. Um, but they were talking about how they incorporated long term tradition, like dance or like fight style,
Mm-hmm.
in into how he actually like how he swung with his webs and what's comes like and how he landed, like with that focuses on landing with flat feet, etc., and the flowy styles. Like that's the type of stuff. Those are the type of detail that a person has to look into to what you come. That's the detail that a machine. You could tell a machine, hey, incorporate styles of this, but it won't be the same.
Right.
It won't be the same because if we were all machines, or like if everything was so repeatable, there would be no excitement in life.
I agree.
And literally people get tired of the same thing as it is. Oh great, I feel like I just watched that fight scene last week. Oh great, I feel like I just seen the last Fast and Furious movie. And while you're joking about Fast and Furious or the Meg 2 or whatever the case may be, keep going bigger and bigger because that's what you want to see. They have to switch it up because apparently the Meg 2 they had more megalodons in the first one, and apparently there's like some like dinosaur type thing. I haven't seen it. I'm gonna see it because I like the first Meg, right?
Okay.
But I know what it is. I'm not going in there expecting some. I'm not expecting Wes Anderson from the Meg, right? But even still, it's like your brain gets like, if you expect stagnation, then sure, you go and make all the films you want with AI. But stop trying to push that onto an industry where it literally where it affects people on multiple levels. And what they don't appreciate now is that, oh, the writers are striking. I don't understand it. It'll affect your content, and you don't understand it now because right now it's affecting them. It has been affecting them in the money that they make and the ability to watch a com. And but people don't. And well, you might realize it when you're less stressed about where your next meal is coming from. You can live a little bit freer. You can go into like your creative mind doesn't die.
Right.
Pressure comes from not knowing. At least when you are a creator, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. But I've done like music and my own art to whatever extent. But when you are a bit more freer in your like spirit or in your day to day, it makes creativity a lot more what's it called. You're stressed when you have pressures, when you're worried about a lot of stuff. Sometimes your art is your escape, but it makes it a lot harder to be creative, come up with new ideas or new ways to do stuff, or to keep working on the same thing.
Right.
So if these people are paid fairly, you're gonna keep getting good content and/or all the stuff that you haven't seen on Netflix yet that's actually really good. Guess what? Somebody worked on that. It wasn't a
Right.
machine that came up with it. But it's like it's affecting people. So if you just want the same, first off, if you just want to see the same thing over and over again, just go back and watch old stuff that will never change, that will always be the same because they're not gonna touch it again, right?
Definitely.
But if you want to see new stuff, if you want to see new ideas that aren't rehashed, because you could say now the closest thing to AI we have now is just them bringing up old properties to make new money, like TMNT. And I know you said it was good. I might watch it eventually, but like bringing up Scooby Doo and this and that, like all this old stuff that we watch to
Mm-hmm.
come. That'll be the stuff they're pulling from AI wise because there it'll be and even still it'll get repetitive past the point. Well, great. I
That's
saw
good.
that conversation. I've seen that already. I've heard that before, and that sounds familiar. There's no Easter eggs because the entire thing's because all it's pulling from is Easter eggs. There's no more hints at something, or there's no more interviews there's no more caring about a person's vision and listening to an interview with such and such talking about why they cloned Tyrone and learning their story, or why they worked this way, like why that felt that way, or why this scene felt a little heavier than others, because a machine can't explain that.
All right.
So figure it out. Stop being insensitive. Pay the people what they need, and then continue to crank out and make them hands over fist money that you were already making. Oh no, you won't be able to get a new yacht in 2 years. Shut up. Anyway, back to Guardians of the Galaxy 3. My point was because I think the Russo brothers do Extraction 2 or Extraction and Extraction 2 on Netflix.
Yes.
So the Russo brothers but basically the Russo brothers work with Thor to make a movie, but the fight choreography in Extraction is really good. The fight scenes are really good. They're filmed really well. Those are people that replicated that type of camera style, etc. Right? So it made me what's it called just watching Guardians. Just like I was smiling the entire time, but there was a human touch to it. But it felt because they cared about the story, they cared about what's it called. They literally gave that movie, I would say, to Rocket, and
Definitely,
it was
definitely.
definitely a Rocket movie, but it was everything.
It was
And then
great.
Groot is a cheat code, but Groot, I like this new Groot too. He's just like, he's like on all. He's like Michael Hearn, just on everything ever. Just, just his shoulders are like where my arms in. He's just, he's like, I'm Groot. It's like, all right, it's like, all right, Vin Diesel, God damn you. But it's like, I swear, but it's a great time. I enjoy stuff like that because, and they found a way. You cared about every character. You saw Peter go through it, learning that this Gamora is not his Gamora, but
Yeah.
that Gamora learning, hey, I can see why the old Gamora like kind of liked you, and maybe and we can at least be friends. Like you saw progression from
Right.
other stories and it was good, and it was still a part of a universe and et cetera, et cetera. So I really liked it, and as I said, that is my favorite Guardians of the Galaxy so far and I
Definitely.
think and I know it was number two was really pretty, but I didn't care about Ego.
Um.
I think that's a part of why I didn't like it because I didn't care enough about like the quote unquote antagonist.
Right.
It's like, but the villain in this was compelling, and he
Definitely.
was actually deranged. Like, but like it was unsettling. It's like, oh my god, like you felt like he's experimenting on these animals and these other animals or what to call, but then like he's manipulating Rocket again. So because Rocket has perfected this, he doesn't know that Rocket doesn't realize he's perfected. It's what you call him. Like he is the perfect what you call him. Like he is the anomaly, but he's
Right.
helping. But he's thinking that this his creator really cares about him. He doesn't give a shit about him. He just wants what he wants from him. But he's able to. But that also helps him find himself.
Right.
At this experiment number, whatever, experiment 626 on some Stitch shit. It's it's like no, I'm Rocket and I am a raccoon, so I'm Rocket Raccoon.
Right. That scene, dude.
They like bucked at you, like bucked at you type shit and fucked him up, and then peeled his face off. It's like yeah, got fucked up for real.
Right.
But it was very well done, and to get more of those type of stories, guess what? You're gonna have to pay people stupid. So
Um.
so
Okay. So do you remember? Did you watch the Suicide Squad?
the Suicide Squad with
Yeah.
Peacemaker, and
Yep.
yeah.
I
Definitely
didn't.
did.
I don't. I didn't notice. I know you know. You probably noticed this much, but the chick from Peacemaker, Jennifer, the actress Jennifer Holland, who's also James Gunn's wife. She plays hardcore in the Peacemaker.
In the show I haven't seen the show Peacemaker
Oh, you
yet.
haven't?
No,
Oh, okay.
definitely.
Good show. Good show. I recommend that highly. But so basically, James Gunn's wife also appears in that movie, Guardians of the Galaxy. But then
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
sure if I'm right. She's basically the chick who's There's two chicks I'm gonna mention. One of them was Jennifer Holland's character, but there's like how they infiltrate that place that like requires the code that will that has the code for Rocket's that security defense thing that Rocket has in his DNA.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah. So there's the receptionist or the one with the no. There's a receptionist. They kill
Right.
her. That's Jennifer Holland's character. Now remember from the Suicide Squad Ratcatcher 2?
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
That actress is also in that movie too. She's the chick that Peter Quill is talking to. Like how Peter Quill like gives her emotional speech about like, oh, we're just trying to save our friend, blah blah blah. Can I speak to the microphone? That kind of thing. That was that was
Oh,
Ratcatcher 2, the actress, and I'm like, oh, that was cool. I didn't even notice that. I thought, oh,
wow.
yeah,
That's a nice little
yeah, little nod.
look, Easter egg.
I
Oh,
know.
no. I
Yeah,
like that, though.
yeah, it's
That's
pretty
what's
cool.
up. And
Yeah,
Ratcatcher 2 was actually the highlight of that film. I'm not gonna
definitely.
lie.
I gotta
I
rewatch
mean,
that.
outside of Peacemaker was good, but I feel like they did a little. Okay, it's kind of sound like I hate women. I understand, but I feel like did they go a little too whimsical for you with Harley, in your opinion? Because I know, like in the comics, she is kind of like loose,
Yeah,
but like crazy. Loose, but like,
I agree. Like she was basically whimsical. Yeah, in the movie. Yeah.
okay. Okay, it just seemed, I guess, and I didn't see. I think they were trying to continue the aesthetic from Birds of Prey, which I did not watch.
I seen it. I liked it.
Okay, I didn't see it. I didn't watch Birds of
It's
Prey. I
it's
had
not
no
like a
desire.
great film, but I see it's a good film. Yeah.
Okay, I mean, like it's good for what it is, which is fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you see how I'm just able to take an opinion and move on with it, and not Harley Quinn was not just someone with lots and flowers appear. It's like
Right.
what?
Right.
Shut your ass up.
Yep. Um. We could.
Respectfully, respect.
Right. We could.
Respectfully, shut your ass
We could talk about my art background in October. If you
up.
want.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna keep it short. It's not that. It's not. I'll keep it short, but like, so my art background. I'm an artist, basically. I'm very artsy in what I do. I probably started drawing when I was in fifth grade, actually. I used to
Okay.
draw a friend. We used to draw like a whole bunch of Mario and Luigi because I was broke and I didn't have video games back then, so that's the only way I got to like interact with video games. I had to draw them, I guess. And middle school,
That's actually a good origin story, though. Pretty cool.
right. In middle school, I joined an art program. I forgot what it's called. And I was okay at it. In high school, I told myself I wasn't gonna do anything with art. But then in junior year, I was like, you know something, fuck it, let's try art again. And I haven't left that horse since. And it's like, yeah, I'm very good at it, and I even have an associate's in art, which is great. I don't know if I'll get a bachelor. I don't know. I may have to update you guys on that. But now there's a little thing I did last year. It's called Inktober. Basically, on the month of October, there is 31 prompts, and you have to draw whatever. So these 31 prompts have these one words, and whatever the word is, you have to figure out. You could draw something similar, not similar, relating to that word. And last year was my first time I actually completed it, and I'm like, this year I'm just like they released it early, and I'm like, okay, the prompts. I have a month. I have a month of it ahead, so I'm like, I'm gonna draw like I'm gonna like catch up because I know like once it hit October, it's gonna be a slugfest. It's gonna be like fuck. It's like me against time and my creativity. Cause like I'm telling you, dude, sometimes I'm just too fucking ambitious. It's like, dude,
I
just
get it.
yeah, like I love art, but it's like sometimes you gotta just keep it simple because like if you're ambitious, that shit drags you down. Like in terms of time and how quickly you can make it. But
Yeah, the time and quality of what you want to put out, the
yeah,
quality of what you want to put out, then the time constraints, and
yeah.
it can become to be, and then it's like, well, what's the point? It either becomes what's the point, or you just put out something, and then you're second guessing yourself because you don't know if it was as good as it could have been, and then you're the only one who notices the flaw. Everyone else like, hey, yo, that's dope as shit. But then you hear the flaw, or you see the flaw, or you didn't like this aspect about it, and then that second guesses you on the next thing.
Yeah.
It's a very, very vicious hamster wheel of ridiculousness.
Oh yeah. It could be a slippery slope, but I don't know. I just feel
It's
like
almost like playing. It's almost like playing Dark Souls or Elden
yeah,
Ring
yeah,
and losing 40 times, but still trying to beat the same boss.
yeah. It's good games. Appreciate
I did that reference strictly for you, Kev. I knew you'd appreciate it.
it, yeah. But I don't know. This I would say I would just end it here, but like my goal would probably be like as an artist, as a career, would be like either work in the video game industry somehow as a developer, or
Hmm.
like do like concept art for movies or TV shows and shit. But yeah.
Well, you know, I mean, it is a reality. That is.
No, that's true. It's definitely reality.
I mean, you know, oh God, what is his name? I'm drawing a blank because I'm not as nearly as active as I used to be on social media. But
Who's
the dude
saying
who would just do like fan art for different stuff, like a movie would be announced, he just do fan art and
Boss
fan
Logic?
art. There you go.
Yeah, Boss Logic.
Until they started actually just working with him because it's like, hey, you're doing a lot better than the people that were paying for it.
He I give you my opinion about him, but like he's good, but I just feel like there are certain things he kind of doesn't like. If you saw his No Way From Home art piece, it was
Huh?
I believe it was sponsored, but it was not that great. Like it just seemed like he just copied some images. Like I noticed that he's kind of like a Photoshop artist, where it's fine what program you use, but I noticed that it seems like he just like it seemed to me like he just copied the images from the movie posters they were posing as or whatever, or I guess at least the textures.
Kind of shoved them together.
It just didn't look as well as it could have been. It wasn't bad. It just could have been better. Like people on Twitter were complaining about it, and I'm like, I kind of agree, but it's like, I mean, it's whatever. I mean, because like Boss Logic's the reason why we got Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka.
Oh, really?
2017, he posted a fan art of, Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka, and it was like, oh, what is it, 2023? It's like, what, 6 years later? Yeah.
7 years later.
Yeah, that's like, yeah. I don't know. It's to me, it's always been like to each his own. I never like I like to judge people, sure, but it's like as an artist, it's like you're gonna have ups and downs. It's never perfect.
Yeah, I was more using him as the example of you keep making what you want to make, and the opportunities will present themselves.
Definitely. I've been a big part. I've been learning that more and more because like I don't know like. Right now as an artist, I'm not like a professional artist in terms of I don't have like commissions and shit, but that's fine. I'm just gonna keep doing me simply, and like I just have these good ideas. Like before I started working on the art podcast cover, I was doing this project I saw on Twitter. So basically, you draw the 3 most recent games, and I was doing them. I finished the first 2. I have to do the last one. Did you want me to tell you what were those 3 games?
Of course.
Okay, so there's one game. It's a farm sim game called Stardew. It's super popular in the farming community, not the real farming community, but the ones behind that sit under computers and play farming games.
My cows need milked. Real quick.
So I decided to draw a character from. So in this farming game, you could date certain residents that you live in a small town. And you could date certain people. And I decided it's really funny because I decided at first I was gonna go for Penny, and Penny's kind of like she's like the good girl. She's wise, orange hair, blah blah. But then I realized I like this other girl. They're kind of similar, but I realized this girl's an artist, and I was like, fuck it, I'll just go for the artist, dude. And I drew her, and then like I was playing Dead by Daylight. You ever heard of Dead by Daylight? Whenever I play with my friends, I used to play with them a lot, but not anymore. But it's like it's fine. But like I used to pick Trapper when I was the villain, and like I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna draw a Trapper. He seems cool. Like he's basically a Jason. Was it? Yeah, he's basically a Jason looking character. He puts traps. Or he has like a jagged knife that he'll slash his enemies at. And then the last game I'm going to draw from is Elden Ring. I'm going to draw one of these knights. It has like the most ridiculous details. It's going to be really cool. And I'm thinking like, bro, maybe I should put in a shirt or something. That's what I'm thinking about. But yeah.
Yeah, sure wouldn't be a bad idea.
It would be a little expensive. I don't know. Imagine for inking, for printing on the shirt. But I don't know. I have to look into it. But right now, Inktober got my full attention. Like I have to. That's a beast. Like last year's Inktober.
Last year, yeah, you was cranking them out though. I respect you.
No, last year, bro, dude, I was on fire. I was like, just rocky, bro. Just keep going, Yeah.
Well, but you know what we can do is at the end of October we can pick your top 5 and maybe display them and make that the album, or make that the artwork for the episode. Or maybe throughout October, we can pick 2 that you really like, or your 2 favorites, if you can isolate. Because I know as an artist, sometimes you like everything, but
yeah, I do. It's hard. Like that's true. But yeah, we could do that. Sure, we can rank what our favorites and just put it on the cover. Sure. Yeah.
Or just if we record once a week, just say, hey, so far, this is my favorite and this is what my inspiration is, and we can make that a bit of a weekly highlight for it.
Yeah, like an art block basically. Sure.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good.
We didn't talk about because the video game with good DLC. We didn't talk about that at all.
Let's save it for next time.
Okay.
I don't know if you need more time or not, but I mean, yeah, I could expose mine now, or if we're gonna save it, I could just save it.
It's almost close to 2 hours. We could end it if you want.
Oh, really?
It's close to two
Dang,
hours. Yeah.
man, we just be chatting. See, that's what we call what? Good content. Man. Yeah, I don't know that we should overload them. You know,
Nah, we should. We should
I think we
probably.
had some good conversations, and I did go on
Yeah,
two tangents.
you did, but
I
it's
feel like I'm
fine.
good for that. I apologize.
Nah, it's fine, dude. Just, you know.
I'm passionate about something. When I'm passionate, I'm passionate. I'm Batman.
Right. You haven't seen the Venom movie, have you? Just asking.
Nope, have not watched
Okay.
Fudge yet.
I figure it's fine. It's fine. It
Yeah.
seems like you saw Extraction 2, right?
So,
It seems like you've seen Extraction 2, right?
nope, haven't watched that either.
Oh, damn. What the fuck?
I nope, lots of rom coms lately. I don't know, been in my feels.
Oh, that's cool. You ever, no, I don't watch rom-coms, but you ever seen Marriage Story?
Nope.
It has Scarlett Johansson and Adam Driver. It's like a very,
Huh.
it,
Adam Driver has a lot of my respect. That guy's good.
he's a good actor. Yeah. It's on Netflix. I saw it like years ago. It's like a dramatic, nice. It's a good marriage story. Yeah, that's how I'll put it.
I'll check it out because I mean, well, I say in my field. I've been in a weird space of like I want new content that feels familiar. So you know, like I've been really back in. I've been getting back into my comic book stuff and
Okay.
my as like I just finished was a Grownish the other day, like this morning. Like you know,
Grownish.
yeah,
Isn't that on
it's
Hulu?
yeah, it is. Yeah, it's on Hulu. But I finished it on at least on Disney, at least on Disney Plus this morning. But like I've been I'm gonna watch Ahsoka though because I do want to start with that. I do want to catch up.
I do want to watch Ahsoka, but I want to probably finish watching. I have to watch Obi-Wan Kenobi series, then Andor, then watch season 3 of Mandalorian.
I
Yeah,
watched season 1 of Mandalorian.
you should watch Mandalorian. It's I like it,
Horrible person.
but horrible person. Oh,
Horrible person.
kill children. Oh, don't watch Mandalorian. Horrible person.
Well, you know that because you know I'm a at least you know me to be this person. I'm the person if I like if I want to watch something, I can jump right in the middle and be cool with it
Okay.
and go backwards and watch everything and then piece it together and then still watch everything after and then not ruin it for me.
Okay.
I've gotten chastised recently. Like, you need to watch the beginning to watch the end.
I
But
get.
they're like, you know, I get it, but like the way my brain works, I watch the end and I'm like, oh, that's how we got here. No, that's how we got here. Oh, like it's like reverse, like going backwards through a maze that has all of these branches.
Yeah.
Sometimes at least it's a lot. At least sometimes it makes stuff more fun for me because if I'm just going linearly snooze, then I just like pass out. So,
Um.
so yeah,
Yeah. I would because Ahsoka does appear in Mandalorian first. That's her. She makes
that's
her,
okay.
she does it. She
Oh,
does
okay.
make her live action appearance in. I think it's either season 2. It's probably it has to be season 2 of Ahsoka. I mean Mandalorian. But you should watch
Mm-hmm.
that. I don't know. You have to watch in order. You really don't. But at least maybe some Mandalorian. But it's interesting because a lot of people say season 3 of Mandalorian kind of fell off, and it's like I don't know. I didn't watch
I
it.
didn't hear that.
I've been
I
hearing
wasn't,
it,
but I wasn't
but
any of it, so
I don't know.
speaking of that.
I'm a sucker for Pedro Pascal, and I think he does a great job as Mandalorian. So
Was he in it?
he's Mandalorian. He's the
I'm sold.
yeah. He's Dinjin. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he's basically the main character. Yeah,
I'm sold.
yeah.
Pedro Pascal's a vibe. Like that guy.
There's a really good movie with him and Nicolas Cage. It's called the massive overbearing weight of talent or something. It came out last year. It's really
I think I
fun.
saw some memes from it.
Yeah, it's
I
that
think I
meme
saw
where
some memes.
like it's Nicolas Cage looking back, looking into the side, and it's just Pedro Pascal like that's the movie where it came from.
Okay.
I would
All right.
recommend that movie too, but take your time because I know I've been giving you too many movies to watch lately.
I know I got a laundry list of stuff. So,
Yeah,
oh
you
my
do.
God.
It's fine.
The pressure.
Yeah.
I can't do my what the fuck? So much to watch.
Did you want to end it?
Yeah, I think we can wrap it up safely. We got a good.
We gotta
Yeah,
do
we,
two
like you said, we
hours,
almost
bro.
at we
We
did
got
2 hours. Yeah,
dude. Yeah.
yeah, we in there like swimwear. You know what I'm saying? All right,
Alrighty.
well, I was about to say you gonna wrap it up. You gonna
Yeah,
move
I'll wrap it up. Thanks for
But-
joining me. I'm gonna look directly to the camera, really close. So,
Yeah. Make that eye contact. Are you uncomfortable? Do you feel secure? We're merely podcasters. We just want to let you know that you two are seen.
oh god.
Nobody can share the video.
All right. Thanks for joining us. If you like this video, let us know. If you're watching this on YouTube, just comment below, like the video, subscribe, do all the socials, whatever you want to do. It's all up to you. It's at your power. We're just merely creators, content creators.
And if you don't like it, let us know too.
Yeah.
You can find your IP address and dox you. Nerd.
Right. All right, guys. Take care. Bye bye.
This is.